Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing one of the more memorable entrants from the 2018 Omega Beijing Olympic Collection. Omega, timer of the Olympic Games since virtually beyond living memory, always issues a set of special watches for the Summer and Winter Olympics, and the model you see here has stood the test of time. Over a decade since its launch, the Omega Ville Chronoscope Coaxial Chronograph still looks the business with a sensational high-polish 41mm stainless steel chronoscope case and a rich, lush, deep, almost wet-appearing, enamel-like lacquered dial in a vintage fashion. The watch wears easily on my 16cm circumference wrist. You can see it's a big watch for a 41. It's not too thick. It actually looks thicker than its 13.2mm, but it is broad across the wrist at 51.4mm, so I would recommend this watch for a wrist no smaller than 14.5cm circumference. The spacing between the lugs is a versatile 20mm, so you will have tons of OEM and aftermarket options in that highly standardized size. But the factory strap is a nice piece. It's substantial. It actually holds up well against the swell of these huge lugs. You can see the side is rather sheer with tons of bolstering, dark brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather with a monotone stitch, calfskin on the underside. It has a full deployant clasp, push button release, and a minderless system. We're familiar with this clasp from innumerable Omega models, but it always comes finished differently depending on the application, and its security with the twin triggers and its clever minderless system always appreciated. You tuck excess length underneath, and then once sized, there are no small minder loops or excess length flapping in the breeze. So it's a very clean looking system once closed and very secure. The Chronoscope case was a quirky adaptation of 1950s Omega case designs into the scale and sensibilities of the 2000s, which tended towards the spectacular and the sizable. You can see it has baby shear guards for the crown and vintage-inspired pump pushers, as well as dramatically sculpted and stepped-out lugs. The bezel is broad, and as you can see, it's both a flat plane and cadran fluted. So you have that rounded domed cadran inboard, and then you have a flat plane outboard of that. So you get a broad bezel that manages to hide its sheer span. The dial is the romance of this watch. Vintage Breguet-style Arabics lacquered on a lacquer dial with railroad-style sub-registers, and you can appreciate the counterweight with the Olympic rings blazing with their multiple colors and the blued needle-style seconds hand counterweighted. The Omega logo, current to the original Omega Olympic timing year, I want to say it was 1932, the first year Omega timed the Olympics. And you can see that a vintage font for the Omega script as well as the Omega logo itself being used in this application. Alpha style hands at center with lume. There will be a lume shot. The beauty of this lacquer dial is that it has the same rich bottomless gloss that you get with enamel, and there is a date window at 6 o'clock. The watch features both stop seconds and a quick set date, so you can rapidly cycle the date and change the date should the watch run down. The watch features a caliber 3313, which has a vertical clutch for smooth engagement of the chronograph. You can also leave it running with a vertical clutch. There's no additional wear and tear if you just like to run your chronograph and have seconds, minutes, and hours at center. It does feature a column wheel function selection, so the action is very crisp under the finger. Now the watch does have a coaxial chronometer certification, so it's both the George Daniels conceived coaxial escapement with tangential contact between escape wheel and impulsing surface, and it's a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, which means it is exceptionally precise. It's also 100 meters water resistant, so while the Summer Olympics tended to focus more on land-based sports. Nevertheless, if you were to go offshore and do a little bit of competitive sailing, thanks to the 100-meter water resistance, this one can fall overboard. 52-hour automatic winding power reserve. It also features a free-sprung balance to better take and hold its 5-position chronometer adjustment. This is a watch that puts it all together. Column wheel vertical clutch, coaxial chronometer, a memorable and handsome vintage-inspired modern watch, and 41mm in stainless steel, a versatile size. You can see this one and you can make it yours on the Watchbox. Omega Ville Chronoscope Olympic Edition.